Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to Sunday morning and the old cookbook show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of this cookbook. This cookbook was written by someone named Menon. It was first published in 1746 in Paris. And the author of this cookbook, that name is thought to be a pseudonym. There's no information about this person whatsoever. They did write a number of cookbooks on a number of different topics, but their actual identity was never revealed. My edition of the book was published in Brussels in 1759, and it's revealed as the new edition. And a very interesting fact about this book, it is an early cookbook that was published over and over and over and over. And between the first publishing and sometime in the mid-1800s, there were over 200 editions of this cookbook published in that time frame. So this little cookbook is great. And today we're going to do a recipe that is called cream for a queen or pudding for a queen. I am not going to speak French in these videos. I read, I understand, I speak French, but I know better than to use my French on a video that I'm going to put on the internet. I just can't take the comments that would bring down onto me. So anyway, we're going to start out with a pot. And to that pot, I'm going to add a pint of cream. Now remember, this is pre-revolutionary France. This is pre-metric France. And so the amount of cream that the author gives, a pint with an E, isn't codified across France. So I'm using the amount that they would have used in Paris, which is 0.953 of a liter. To that, I'm going to add some sugar. Now the idea is I'm supposed to boil this until it's reduced by half. So I really like this cookbook. It is written in very plain language. It's written for people who were in service in the cities to smaller families and smaller households. And when I say in service, it would be a chef or a cook who is maybe working with 2 or 3 other servants in a household in the cities. Smaller family units. There's no giant extravagant meal plans in here for feeding hundreds of people, which you would see in other cookbooks in this time period, and certainly other cookbooks in an earlier time period. And the ingredient lists are, again, very sort of plain and simple. They are things that were easy to get in this time period. And I would say that most of the recipes in here feature ingredients that are still easy to get today. And that makes this cookbook a very timeless sort of resource. If you can get a reprint of this, I would suggest that you do, because it's a very interesting snapshot of what was happening. So our cream is just coming up to heat. Watch it very carefully, because it could boil over and it could burn or scorch to the bottom of the pot, and you don't want that to happen. So I would suggest that you almost continuously, slowly stir this, just to make sure that it doesn't burn on the bottom, like I said earlier, and also to keep the foam down. Now it will boil up a lot. You'll notice that it's probably filling 3/4 of the pot at this point. I chose a big enough pot, but if it looks like it's going to boil over, you don't need to panic. Just grab the pot and lift it off of the heat. And if you just lift it up, it immediately goes down. So that's a great way just to sort of regulate if it's going to boil over. Don't panic, just lift the pot up. Lift it up an inch, everything's going to be fine. I think I've got this cream reduced by half. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell in a pot, especially when it's bubbling up so much, but it has changed color. It has thickened quite a bit. The next instruction is to add some orange blossom water. And orange blossom water and rose water are fairly common in this time period. And I'm not going to put in as much as it asks for, because I don't like either of them. And I would really like to enjoy this. So I'm just going to put it in a little bit and hopefully just get a little bit of the essence and not be overpowered by the rose water. Sorry, the orange blossom water. It is one of those things that you can leave out completely probably. You could use vanilla. This is where today we would use vanilla. So I'm going to stir that in. Next is to whip up the whites of 2 eggs. And I'll just do that by hand. Shouldn't take too long. Once I have the egg whites whipped up, I'm supposed to whisk them into the pudding and put it back on the fire until the egg whites are cooked. Which shouldn't take too long, because that cream is still really hot and it won't take long for the egg whites to cook. And I think really what you're looking for is just for it to be thickened. So, back onto the fire with a little bit of whisking. Oh, that's quite nice. That's got a really lovely, frothy texture. Now the next instruction is to dress it into a fruit bowl and then chill it. I've got a few options of different things that I would use. I think I'm just going to go with this 8x8 and chill it. Obviously, they must have had some sort of ice house at this time period in the better houses in Paris. I'm just going to pop it in the fridge and let it chill, and we'll see how it ends up in a little while. But it looks absolutely wonderful. Well, that's going to be nice. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends. That's an unusual texture.
It is an unusual texture. Pudding for a queen, or
Well, for me.
cream for a queen. I mean, there's a couple of different ways that you could translate it.
I can see that it's a very thick cream.
Well, it's a liter of cream boiled down by half.
It's a bit like eating evaporated milk.
Yeah.
It's not quite as sweet, I don't think, but you know, that's pretty much the same texture.
It's not very sweet, but it is, the texture's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I think that would go really well with like on a biscuit, like not a biscuit, but on like a sweet scone or with jam, like anywhere you would put clotted creams of any sort, right?
Completely. And so we may be right off base eating this out of a bowl. This could 100% be something that you're supposed to spoon onto fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be really good on fruit.
Or put fruit in it. I mean, it does say to put it into a fruit bowl and then chill it. But it didn't say anything about fruit.
Oh, so you assume that it just meant the bowl?
Just the bowl.
They might have meant a fruit bowl being actual pieces of fruit.
I mean, I'm dealing with an early form of French with letters that we no longer use in the alphabet.
So maybe something lost in the translation.
There might be something lost in my translation, definitely. But very tasty. And I would say this could go on all of those things.
It could save a dry cake.
On a shortcake with strawberries on top and then pour this on, it'd be absolutely amazing.
But clearly neither of us are having any problem with just eating it straight
No, I'm not
up.
having any trouble with that. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
Glenn, I've got an idea. Come back here and try this out.
Idea?
Try this out. We still have this pudding you made. I bet these go together.
So this is pan pudding from another one of our videos coming up from a Scottish cookbook. I forgot that we had this. We just shot the video.
There's our big secret, right? We do more than one at once.
Oh, so a little bit of.
You never know what you're going to discover.
Okay. So
That's pretty good.
keep your eyes open for the 1800s pan pudding from Scotland, and pair it with the 17.
And if you threw some fruit on that with it,
Yeah.
it would be, look at that, you layer that with some fresh fruit and, Now we have to find some fresh fruit.
That's really good.